We all have dreams and we all want to make them come true, right? Well, imagine if a princess didn't want to get married and instead wanted to be a fierce warrior. How cool would that be? Let's find out. So, at the beginning of this awesome movie, there's this girl named Merida. She's the daughter of a king, which makes her a princess. It's her birthday, and guess what? The king gives her a bow and arrow as a gift. One day, Merida decides to go to the forest and play with her new bow and arrow. While she's there, she sees a magical firefly. Her mom had told her that these fireflies can change someone's life. So, she's watching them when suddenly, a bear comes out of nowhere and starts chasing her. Then Merida's dad, the king, comes to the rescue and fights the bear. Unfortunately, he gets hurt and cuts his leg. Ouch! The scene changes and we fast forward a few years. Now, we see the king still fighting bravely, even with his injured leg. Merida, who used to be a little girl, has grown up now. She has 3 brothers and now she's not a typical princess. She loves doing things that boys usually do. She enjoys playing outside, hunting, and shooting arrows. She even likes spending time in the forest. She dreams of becoming a warrior, just like her dad. But here's the thing, her mom, the queen, doesn't really approve of her tomboyish ways. She wants Merida to be more like a traditional princess. So, she spends a lot of time trying to teach Merida how princesses are supposed to live. One day, during dinner, Merida finds out that many princes are coming to her palace because she's reached the age where she's supposed to get married. But Merida shocks. She doesn't want to get married and storms off in anger. After a while, the queen decides to lift her daughter's spirits by sharing a story about 4 kings. One of them becomes consumed by a hunger for power and resorts to black magic to gain the strength of 10 people. However, he ends up separated from his family. Merida, feeling angry and uninterested, storms off, leaving everything behind. The next day, all the princes gather in the palace, competing for the hand of the king's daughter. The queen prepares her daughter to look like a princess and organizes a game for the princes. The one who hits the target the best will win Merida's hand in marriage. The game begins, but no one succeeds. Suddenly, a foolish prince accidentally hits the target. Witnessing this, Merida steps forward and hits the target very well, proving her bravery and independence. She declares that she doesn't need a man in her life. However, the queen is furious with Merida's actions and scolds her. Merida, in turn, is angry with her mother. In her rage, she cuts the queen out of their family photo and flees into the jungle. Eventually, she stumbles upon a mysterious place where her horse knocks her down. There, she encounters the magical fireflies that have the power to change her life. The fireflies lead her to a witch who possesses knowledge of black magic. Merida hatches a plan to use black magic to change her mother, the queen. The witch warns her of the potential consequences, sharing the story of a king who suffered greatly after using black magic. And now he is in a very bad condition. We don't know about his condition yet. Despite the warning, Merida ignores the witch's advice and insists on performing the black magic. In exchange, she gives the witch her precious locket. The witch agrees and creates a magical cake. Merida must feed it to her mother to enact the change. The witch tries to convey something important to Merida, but she rushes off before hearing it. When she arrived at the palace, she excitedly presented the queen with a cake she had made. The queen was overjoyed and took a bite. However, soon after, the queen's health took a turn for the worse. Unaware of the situation, Merida asks her without noticing, has her mind changed? Will I not get married now? But the queen's condition continued to deteriorate. She forgot her words and took her to the room. Before long, the queen transformed into a giant bear, leaving Merida terrified and confused about what had happened. In shock, Merida confided in her mother about the possibility of black magic. To prevent things from getting worse, Merida suggested they go to the forest where the witch lived, believing that everything would be resolved there. But now the problem was about to start, because Merida's father, the king, and all the guests were outside. And they also feel that a bear has come to their palace. Then they go ahead to find and kill the bear. Merida found herself in a difficult situation with 2 missions at hand. She needed to find a way to turn her mother back into a human and protect her from everyone while taking her to the witch. The king was also determined to kill the bear, adding to Merida's troubles. Seeking help, she turned to her 3 brothers and asked them to distract the king. Finally, she managed to lead her mother to the forest. However, their search for the witch proved fruitless, causing further complications. After some time, the witch appeared from a magical pot and informed Merida that in order to cure her mother, she needed to mend all her relationships and let go of her pride. Otherwise, her mother would remain a bear forever, with only 2 days left to find the solution. They decided to stay in the forest for the day, and the next morning, Merida gave fish to her mom to eat. The queen has become a bear, so her hunger wasn't ending up. Merida taught her mother how to hunt fish, bringing them both joy. After all that happened, they once again spotted enchanting fireflies in the forest. Suddenly, Merida stumbled and fell while trying to follow them. To her surprise, she found herself in an underground room. Inside, there were 4 coffins belonging to the kings. One of the coffins stood out from the rest, completely different in appearance. It dawned on her that this was the same king whose story the queen had wanted to share with her. The witch had also mentioned this king, warning of his tragic fate. Now, she saw that he had transformed into a bear, just like the queen. He possessed the strength of 10 men in his bear form. The enormous bear lunged at her, but with her mother's help, she managed to escape from the underground chamber. Witnessing all of this, she couldn't help but think of the witch again. The witch had revealed the way to cure the queen. Merida informed the queen that they needed to mend their relationships, just like one of the 3 coffins that stood apart. In this way, I cut your photo and separated it. And now we have to fix that photo to cure you. However, the challenge remained in bringing the bear queen back to the palace. That's when the queen shared a secret route with Merida. She made her way to the palace, where the king and the guests were gathered. It was crucial that they didn't notice the bear. So, Merida stepped forward and engaged them in conversation, trying to divert their attention. She conveyed the same message that the bear queen had communicated to her through gestures. She emphasized that she and the queen had decided that she would marry the boy she liked. Merida explained to everyone that marriage should not be forced upon anyone. Surprisingly, everyone understood and accepted this happily. This gave the queen an opportunity to sneak into Merida's room. Meanwhile, the king had also arrived at Merida's room in search of the queen. He became furious upon seeing the bear, as he had lost his leg due to a bear attack in the past. To him, this bear resembled the same one. He wanted to kill it. Despite Merida's repeated attempts to convince him that she was the queen, he refused to listen. When the king ignored her pleas, the queen had no choice but to escape through the window to save herself. As Merida stayed behind, the king locked her up and entrusted the key to a servant before setting off to hunt the bear. However, it wasn't long before they captured her. Meanwhile, Merida was determined to find a way out of the room. To her surprise, she discovered that her brothers had also transformed into small bears after eating that magical cake. With their help, she made her way to where the queen was held captive. But the king was determined to eliminate the bear at any cost, leading to a fierce confrontation between Merida and her father. In the midst of their fight, another bear appeared, the same one that had been shown at the beginning of the movie. This bear broke the king's leg, a memory that came rushing back to him. However, before the king could react, the bear wreaked havoc. It seemed like the bear would devour Merida after defeating everyone. Witnessing this, the queen found a surge of energy and broke free from her restraints. Her first priority was to rescue her daughter from the bear. After a grueling battle, the queen managed to kill the bear using a stone. With the bear's demise, the king's soul was finally freed. Throughout the fight, time flew by and morning arrived with the rising sun. However, the queen remained in bear form. According to the witch's prophecy, if she didn't find a cure within 2 days, she would remain a bear forever. Merida realized her mistake and tears streamed down her face. The queen also acknowledged her own wrongdoing in always thinking poorly of her daughter. Suddenly, their realization broke the spell. The picture that Merida had placed on her mother was restored. As the sun emerged, both Merida's brother and the queen transformed back into humans. The scene shifted to show their joyous reunion. The suitors who had come to marry Merida had already departed. Now, the queen fully supported Merida in all her endeavors. And so, the movie concluded with a happily ever after. Thank you for watching, guys. If you enjoy animated movies, please subscribe to this channel and keep watching.